All right, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday, April 2nd. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Slick's here. He's going to do some sports. Slickster, how are you?
I'm doing good, Big D.
Looking good as always. I love that paisley jacket.
Thank you, sir.
Looking good, looking good. How was your, what'd you do today? Anything?
Today was a busy running around day. Breakfast meetings and lunch meetings and dinner meetings and, just a lot of meetings.
Okay.
A lot of meetings, a lot of drinking.
Okay, good. It'll be a good show then.
Come on.
Good sports reports coming up with Slick. Rick Delgado's here. He's going to do some news. Mr. Delgado, how are you?
I am good.
How was your day?
Uneventful.
Meetings? Oh, really? Uneventful.
No meetings, no lunch meetings, no breakfast meetings, no meetings, no harumps, no nothing.
Did you get a nap in?
I got a nap in.
There you go.
Which is very helpful, of course.
Yeah.
Keeps me young and vibrant.
Vibrant for sure.
That's what it is.
About the other one, but okay, very good.
Shut up.
All right, anything in the news catch? Who are you talking to? Anybody in the news? Anybody? Anything in the news catch your attention
Well, I
today?
think it's a Liberation Day.
Liberation Day. Yeah,
Liberation Day.
Talk a lot about that.
Yes.
So, Mr. Nolan's here. Mr. Nolan, how are you? Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
How was your week?
It was very nice.
You were in Florida.
Yeah, I was down in Florida, just loving the weather. The
Looking
big,
tan,
yeah,
looking like you got away.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not jealous at all.
Right now,
no.
I come back to New York. I'm looking California, and I'm feeling Minnesota.
Yeah.
You see, I got my new shirt at Rick's favorite shop. Just flannel again.
I like that
This guy's
shirt.
like $1 million over there.
It's cold enough to snow here.
It is. It's 37 degrees this morning.
It's not that bad, is it?
Somebody in North Dakota right now is cracking up in this show. What are you talking about? It was 13 this morning. We got a heat wave.
I mean, it's just crazy. It's weather. It's just unrelenting.
Yeah.
Sure would like to have
global warming.
Maybe one day I'll be able to snowbird, right? We see with half the year in Florida, half in New York.
I'd like to spend all the year in Florida and none of it in New York. How about that? I'd like to get to that part.
I go that swamp butt on those August days. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it.
If they get rid of the property taxes like the governor wants to do, and there's already no state income tax, I think I'll take a swamp butt all day long.
Small price to pay.
Yes. Exactly. It's a much smaller price to pay than the price to pay of living in New York. That's for sure. So, all right, we'll get to all of that. Everybody will have news. Slick will have sports. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Want to welcome in the live from Studio 6B audience, of course, wherever you're watching, YouTube, Facebook, X, Kick, Rumble, Getter, wherever it is. Welcome on in on Real America's Voice socials as well. Glad you're in. Busy day. I want to say hello to our friends in the chat. I already see the chat getting fired up in here. See all of our friends in there. Clarity Pickett on Facebook. What's going on? What's going on? Our friends on YouTube. So lots to do on a Wednesday. Wait a minute. Week's flying by. Wednesday?
Yeah, it's
April
Wednesday.
2nd. Yes, it is Wednesday. Liberation Day at the White House. And I streamed the Liberation Day event this afternoon. And
Did you?
many of you tuned in, to a tune of about 3,000 of you tuned in to Liberation Day. And, I certainly am not going to sit here and act as some expert on tariffs and expert on what's I expect to happen. And so I wanted to just get some basic feel for what people felt after watching that event and looking at, I think some people were really surprised by the list by the charts he had.
Yeah.
I think some people are still, and I think it still could be, but I think some people are still caught in the whole this is 4D chess thing. That this is all still 4D chess. And that's why, so I went to Twitter and I put an really honest question. I think I phrased it the way that I wanted to phrase it. People were like, I don't understand your wording. And I don't know.
And you said either to you.
Not a trick question at all. I said, if it comes to this, and I said that first because, again, I think people think that this could still be 4D chess, and that Trump, of course, likes to shock the system, especially when he wants to create change.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's still a chance that this is still in the shock the system part, and maybe waiting to see what the response is, waiting to see kind of like what you're seeing out of that the fat boy there in Canada going to roll over and say, well, we maybe drop to zero if, so looking for reactions like that. So I don't know that it's necessarily going to come to, the quote-unquote experts who say, well, this is just a big tax on the American people. I think there's an argument for that, and it may come to that. So I said, if it comes to this, Meaning, if this is not 4D chess, and we really do go into this tariff war, whatever you want to call it, are you okay paying higher prices for your daily items, things that you use every day or every month, or you buy a new washing machine, whatever it is, because it's Trump doing it? Because obviously, if this was Biden, we all know what our answers would be. Let's just be intellectually honest with each other. We know what the answers would be. So I said, if it comes to this, are you okay paying higher prices for your daily items because it's Trump who's doing it? 78.5% right now have said yes.
Really?
Wow.
21.5% said no. And underneath, you get some comments that are just, whatever, damn it. Well, but there's actually a lot of thoughtful comments, which is why I posted it, because I wanted to see where people are really at and how they feel about this, and whether they feel that this really is just a tax on them. Because I think there's an argument to be made, and I'd like to know what you guys think, that Trump is really, in some ways, especially when you mix what just happened in Wisconsin, when you look at what the Republicans are doing, which is effectively so far nothing, in the House, in the Senate, the collapsed timetable we have that we just talked about the other day until the midterms, I think there's an argument to be made that Trump is really, in a way, staking a lot of political capital. I don't know. You say he's staking his presidency, and that might be a little bit of a stretch, because obviously he's getting a lot done by executive order, but it all can be undone in 6 seconds by a new president. But he's staking a lot on this working, whatever that means right now, whatever the plan actually is, whether it's get a response, people fold, and this all goes away, or this really working on tariffs, really making the economy boom, which most experts will tell you that it's not going to have that effect.
Right. Well,
what do you think, Delgado?
I think overall what he's doing, he's resetting this board, the playing field.
Yeah,
he's resetting everything.
Yeah, because he wants to reset. Yeah, I agree.
He wants to reset it. What that looks like is eliminating all the countries and territories that have tariffs already on us. And the way you do that is by doing what he did today. He had the big board up there. 180 countries are listed that are facing reciprocal tariffs. And, you had dumb Doug Ford up in Ontario talking, well, we'd take down ours in a minute if Trump didn't do his. Well, but that doesn't explain the fact that you have them on there now. And that's where the problem lies. See, and I think what we were discussing yesterday with Vin, Dame, was this looking down the road thing. If you're looking for the quick fix, this is not the quick fix for a lot of this. This is looking down the field saying, how do we get it so we don't have to rely on these countries as much down the road? So we have more innovation, more of these companies investing in this country as opposed to doing the stuff over there and then shipping it over on the cheap, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's part of this reset that he's trying to do.
When you said eliminate before,
yes.
What did you mean by that?
You mean
You said that he wants to. You said something like he wants to eliminate
the tariffs. The tariffs, like
meaning he wants to
Ontario.
40-40
right.
means we even them out.
Right. If you guys,
okay, got it.
If the premier, whatever his name is, Ford in Ontario, Canada, if he's sitting there saying, well, I'll get rid of my tariffs in a minute if he doesn't do this, well, then why do you even have tariffs to begin with? Why didn't you just take them off the board and say, look, right. you don't have to attack Canada. We're good.
Well, I don't think anybody disagrees with Trump's notion that we've been taken advantage of. I mean, no one disagrees with that.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's the big thing. It's like, well, you guys don't want tariffs, but you're doing it to us. So you know what? Turnabout is fair play.
Yeah.
And there's a little pain right now. But I think down the road, it's all gonna kind of everybody's gonna be happier.
Yeah, so I'm in the process of redoing a lease and getting a vehicle, and a little concerned about tariffs too, if it's going to impact my sale of the car. Just being self-serving. But overall, I do support the president. It has impacted me personally with my wife's company losing her job, and it was a big hit, and I think it was indirectly in regards to them preparing for what's going to go on in the medical world. And Trump's had that impact, but we had no choice. We had to get him in, no matter what. We had to get her out. Not make sure she didn't run. But in respect to the tariffs, I'm with it. I'm on board. No, we gotta get that out. We gotta be a little punitive.
So is your answer to the question you're okay with paying more too?
I think we have to right now.
I think in the short term.
And believe me, I don't want to. And
What's short term, Delgado? 6 months, a year? A year is a year short term?
Yeah.
Yeah.
However long it takes for these people to react and say, you know what, this is hurting us more than it's hurting them, because that's the equation. We are the biggest what do you call it? We're the biggest buyers out there.
Consumers, yeah.
So they need to get their products to our market. If their products cost too much, it's not coming in, or people aren't buying it, they're going to feel it more than we will.
Okay, Paul.
Well, I've been saying since this tariff conversation began that this was going to start with saber rattling, which it did. The numbers came down. Reciprocal tariffs, to me, are what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Has to be done. Am I okay with paying more? No, not really. But I did say from Jump Street, and I still feel the same way after spending some time on this, that I feel as though that in the short term, we'll take a little hit. We saw the market. Every time Trump says tariff, the market goes down. Every time he says tariff, crypto markets go down.
Tomorrow will be a bloodbath at the open.
Without a doubt. The aftermarket trading is crazy, and we know it. So you know that things will be on sale. So if you have a little bit of money, put it into the stock now, because we know it'll go back up.
Yep.
However, I did say, and I still feel that in time, as manufacturing comes over, which we keep seeing that happen, we're seeing infrastructure build up. The more infrastructure that builds up, the closer we get to eliminating a debt, especially when we're cutting waste and fraud. If we can go after the military complex and lower that outrageous budget we spend there, and if and when there's a way Lutnick and the whole DOGE team and the cabinet can find a way to balance the budget, and then now we're going to eliminate tax on individual, really the working stiff under 150K. I'd like to see that a little bit higher, because let's be honest, if you live in New York and you make 175, you're fighting to get by. Once that kicks in, then if fuel prices come down, we will see an economic explosion of that proportions. I do see the future as extremely bright. I think if you ever want to reset or fix a market, you've got to feel some pain. I felt like when the banking crisis happened in 08, 09, let them fail, let them die, let everybody feel pain for 6, 8, 12, 10 months. The Lord will provide. Everyone gets through it, and we would have watched a rebirth of a new banking system, and that we wouldn't be in this mess all over again, so to speak. So I'm extremely optimistic that the future is
All right, a lot to do on this subject tonight, and we're going to get to a lot of what you think as well. Comments, chat, live from Studio 6B, 13 past the hour. We'll do more of this. News, sports, all coming up.
Sounds better to me tonight for some reason.
Damon's in the house and rising. So.
All right, chat. What's
no
going on?
Thank you, Lori Lombardo. Daniel, I think you rock too, buddy.
Water in the fridge boxes.
So I think, Tim, in that, I think my favorite thing about the way you presented that question was we have to be intellectually honest, and we have to objectively look at this presidency, because it's always we the people versus the politicians. As much as we're hopeful of Trump, we still have to, as Ben Franklin said, we have to question absolutely everything, including the very existence of the God we believe in. So you have to just question everything. Otherwise, you could fall into that sycophant, ideological.
No, I really am interested in what people think, because I think
It's divided, no question.
some think that it's 4D chess and we'll never get to the point, which is why I phrased it, if it gets to this, that we'll never get to higher prices that people will really feel. And then obviously, market Wall Street people think that this is a disaster and that people once they actually start to see prices rise, they're going to go, whoa.
Well, there will be
I
panic.
don't know if I love this.
And the media will run with it, and they'll do everything in their power to blow him out of the water. So, you know,
it's
you know.
To the chat, excuse me, gentlemen. YouTube, super chat. Drag Blacker, $30, Big D. Damon has been the best of the panel this whole week with his sober, real politic.
okay. Thank you, Drag Blacker.
Yeah. Real politic, real politic,
Real politic?
real politic.
Real politic.
One word.
It's real politique.
Monica Piper, Slick, I just ordered one of your shirts. Oh, she got one of them nice football shirts there, Big D.
Someone said Damon isn't sober. I'm always sober.
Oh, he is.
By the
No,
way, what do
Damon,
we got
Damon
in
doesn't
front of you?
drink
That's
at all.
awfully tempting to
Damon's been sober for 52 years.
This time
52
Damon drank was
52,
Christmas Eve.
11 months and 2 days, years. What's
What do we got here?
Yeah, we got a little gift from our friends in Vermont. Metcalf's Vermont Maple Bourbon.
Oh, yeah, that's good
There's a
stuff.
glass right there.
Get
Yeah.
a little nip.
It's very good.
Give Paulie a little
There
nip.
is.
It's nice.
A little
Come on,
glass.
Paul, have a little nip.
Don't tease
And I
me
got
like this. What's going on? I mean,
got,
you were the bottle has been broken.
I got Newell's Bourbon Barrel Aged Vermont Maple Syrup.
Did you guys take a taste of this on air?
We took it in. We tried it in our
At
coffee.
the break.
All right, live from Studio 6B, 17 past the hour. Welcome back in. I just saw a comment I wanted to get to. Patrick on X says, Damon, will you share the maple bourbon with Paul?
It looked like a big no. I basically badgered him at the break. Give me a
didn't say
taste of
that.
that
I
thing.
didn't
You ever hear the
I said
term-
there's an open bottle.
didn't
There's
say
a glass.
Bourbon and cigars, it's a no for both.
I didn't say
Right, what happened here? Was that lost in
this one
customs?
made it through customs,
Yeah,
Paul. And it's here,
Apparently it didn't because it's not past this barrier.
Well, there's another customs right here that separates us
It's
down here.
that's something you're not accustomed to.
I might give you a little.
He might ease the tariff. Yeah.
Your Primus New York Islander cup.
I got, yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll see.
Give him
We'll
a
see.
little nip.
Give him a little nip.
We'll give you a little taste, Paul.
Give
See
him
what
a
you
taste.
think.
Hey,
So,
Paulie, you want a taste?
I think every time we say Marxist, we should do a shot.
we be doing the show from the floor. All right, 18 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. So I want to get to this poll is still open, by the way. I'd love to see more people take it. Well, actually, more people have taken it since we started the show. It's on our Let me pin it. It's on our Twitter. I'll pin it right now.
We took the poll for 4 years in Biden.
If it comes to this, are you okay paying higher prices for your daily items because it's Trump
Sideways.
doing it? And so far, 80.8% of people have said yes.
I believe John Solomon had a similar poll.
Just to give you some of the comments, because I thought some of them were well reasoned. Brian says, not a yes or no question. I'm willing because it's good for the future of the country.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it's not a yes or no question. It is a yes or no question. Let's see. Short-term pain for long-term. Short-term pain for long-term. I think they meant gain, but they also wrote pain, which could be that too.
Unless that's, some tongue-in-cheek sarcasm.
Brad, yeah, right. Brad says, I think it'll be better for America in the long run, so yes. Patriot Katie Jane said yes, because this is to fix things not just due to incompetence or purposely trying to collapse. Gus says because it's not going to last long, which is, again, another aspect of this, possibly. Kelly says, I'm okay with the tariffs to get our trade deficit under control as long as it's short term. I'm okay with any president taking this action to help us rebuild our manufacturing sector instead of being dependent on other countries to get products I want made in America.
Good answer.
Shelley says for short term, but not long term. Rogers says, how much worse can it get? Already paying 20, 30% more from Sleepy Joe.
That's a good point.
Yep. Red Georgia 84 says, I trust the plan. Zen Monkey says, it depends. Is it short term for long term improvement? Will our lives be better for it? What's the purpose? Okay. Mark B. in San Diego says, wrong wording. It's not just Trump. It's for the American worker. Well, I get it, but we only have one president. And it's him, so he's the one doing it. As long as it's short term, we already pay higher prices under Biden. Let's see. Too many variables to answer yes or no. Okay. So that's just a little bit of what you said. Squid Billy said, yes, I am willing to pay higher prices, not because Trump is doing it, but because it's the best thing for the country. Free trade means just that, free trade, which we have not had in over a century. So,
yeah, I mean, if you want to
agree
give it
with
a sports analogy, think about your favorite team deciding, you know what, we're not going to make the playoffs. Let's tank for a little bit. Yeah, it'll be short-term pain, but then we get a better draft pick. Maybe the Jets finally get that quarterback that they need. Probably not. So let's hope we don't go the way of the Jets. But you try and you deal with that short-term pain because down the road you're hoping that you'll build a team that's going to be a championship team.
Okay.
Sounds like my Sixers.
All right, good. Speaking of sports, let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. I was trying to think who the sponsor is. God.
Well, it's the same
Mike
guy as
Lindell,
always.
MyPillow. LFS6P is the promo code to use if all of you who are shopping for Easter, and it seems like many of you are. We appreciate when you use there's a lot of codes out there. We appreciate when you choose to use ours. LFS6P, great way to support the show, support Mike, all the great stuff from MyPillow. Most of it made right here in the good old US of A. LFS6P will save you 50-60% off whatever you want to buy from Mike. They sponsor sports. Slick's got it. What's going on?
All right, to the ice we go, Big D. NHL action in the Garden. We got a wild one. The Rangers and Wild are tied at 2. 14-20 to go there in the second period. Hurricanes blanking the Caps 3-0. 13:03. Alexander Ovechkin looking to break that Wayne Gretzky record. Needs 4 goals to do it, 3 to tie. So we'll keep an eye on that. I think he has about 8 games left. Real big moment in hockey history. Panthers and Maple Leafs, no score there, end of 1. Avalanche in Chicago taking on the Blackhawks at 9:30 puck drop and 10:30 puck drop out on the west and the Pacific Rim. The Canucks hosting the Kraken. To the NBA we go to hardwood right now. Knicks 60-53 over the Cavs at the half in Cleveland. Hornets trail the Pacers by 14, 64-59 to go there in the third. Also in the third, 11 to go there. Kings and Wizards all knotted up at 55. The Heat over the Celtics 45-33. 5 to go there in the second. Just underway. Rockets and Jazz 7 to go in the first. Rockets up 11-8. Hawks, Mavs, Spurs, Nuggets, Pistons, Thunders, Pelicans at the Clippers all coming up. 9:30, 9 o'clock, and 10:30 respective tip-offs. Let's go to the baseball field. We got a baseball going on, too. 3 of the 4 major sports in action right now. Red Sox over the Orioles, 3-0 down in Baltimore, top of the 8th. Top of the 7th, the Phillies lead the Rockies 2-1. Diamonds over the Yankees, 4-0, bottom of the 5th. Yankees may be in trouble here, 2 in a row they lose. Rangers over the Reds. Reds lose all the time. 1-0 final there. We got the Pirates over the Rays, 4-2. Brewers right now, 3-2. Well, 3-2 over the Royals. Check that. That's a final in 11. Cardinals down the Angels earlier today, 12-5. Twins 6-1 over the White Sox. Blue Jays 4-2 over the Nationals. Cubs 10-2 over the Athletics. Real pitcher duel there. Giants 6-3 over the Astros. Padres 5-2 over the Guardians. Mariners edge the Tigers 3-2. And just a little while ago, in 11, the New York Mets pull it out down in Florida. They beat the Marlins 6-5. Braves and Dodgers coming up out west, 8:38. First pitch, Dodgers 7-0. First defending World Series team to go 7-0 since the 1933 Yankees with the great Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Now that's really something. So Dodgers are on fire out in L.A., defending world champions. And just one story, if I may, Big D.
Of course.
Yeah, we got a report. Former NFL kicker seriously considering congressional run. Dylan Gwynn at Breitbart. Former Arizona Cardinals kicker and current CBS analyst Jay Feely is seriously considering a run for Congress in Arizona, according to the Arizona Republic. The paper reports that Feely is eyeing the state's 5th congressional district, which will soon be vacated by its current occupant, Representative Andy Biggs, as he prepares to run for governor next year. Feely has laid the groundwork for a congressional run by playing golf with President Trump at Mar-a-Lago and networking with Republican leadership in the state. Feely would be far from the first among former athletes and members of the sports world to delve into politics. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville, Republican, was a college football coach at Auburn and Cincinnati, and Trump's longtime friend Herschel Walker is a Heisman winner and NFL running back legend. We know his storied run was also history. The 5th congressional district is Republican friendly. According to Fox News, the GOP has held the seat for all but 6 years since it was created in 1983. Feely spent 14 years kicking in the NFL. He played for the Falcons, Giants, Dolphins, Jets, Cardinals, and Bears during his career. He definitely got around, but you know what? He was a pretty solid kicker. I remember making some big kicks, in particular for the Falcons there when they played the Saints in a couple of big games. And Big D, that's a wrap in sports to you. Let's get that Republican in office in Arizona. We know we need it.
All right, Slick, very good. We'll talk a little bit about the special elections last night again. I was sad to see Val Kilmer died.
Oh, me too. I thought of you, Rick. I figured you would just miss that story by about an hour or two.
Documentary on him?
No.
It was great. A Netflix one?
Yeah, Netflix
And I was never a big fan, but after watching that, it was hard to not like him. He was,
he wasn't really a likable character either. When
he
a lot
always
of the
played
parts
such
he played, he was always a wise guy, tough guy.
Well, the documentary was actually narrated by his son, who sounds exactly like him.
Yep.
Wow.
So a lot of people thought it was like, I thought he had throat cancer and couldn't speak. But it was his son actually doing the narrating.
Yeah. He was a good actor.
The backstory on Tom Cruise wanting to do that scene and doing whatever they had to make sure that they could get that done, and how emotional he was doing it was
fantastic.
Man, oof. How it gets any better than that? 26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. News with Delgado and Paul Nolan coming up.
So I just want to thank Patty Jamcat in the chat. It says, Papa Nolan, a note came with the bourbon thanking all of you. Damon seems to think it's just for him. What the F is his problem with that bourbon? When is anyone going to tell him his behavior is just rude?
Who said this?
My best friend, Patty Jamcat.
Well, Patty Jamcat, I'll have you know that the letter was addressed to only me.
Ooh.
What are you talking about?
Why do you got to be so mean to the audience? Patty Jamcat, she's a gem.
I'm not. I'm just stating.
I don't. Can we see that said note?
I'm just setting the record straight. What bourbon are you talking about, by the way? There's no bourbon here.
Wait.
Look.
It was a figment.
You're talking about this. This is the maple syrup.
It was a filament of imagination.
You want some of this?
Yeah, I'll
get you some of that.
Put that.
There's no other bottles
coffee.
Here.
CC Jesus Perez.
No.
We keep dropping money bombs just like Drag Blacker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you guys won't want to read that.
That's Slick's job. I tried to do it last night. I got screamed at from him.
Well, no. All right, hold on. I'm getting back to somebody else.
No, you did.
I'm in a different stream.
The audience saw it.
I just redirected you. There's a difference. Well, look at Big D gifting 5 live from Studio 6B memberships. That was very nice.
I'm going to do 5 more in an hour, too.
Yep. Please, Russ, don't ever compare any of us to Bill Maher.
Jesus Perez, $20. Thank you. Damon, I'm with our President Trump. He's fought for us and is always fighting for the American people. And I agree with him. Jesus Perez, thank you, pal.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He
audience member.
Yeah. He did tell me at the beginning of the month he was going to have money for us. He followed through. Man of his word, Jesus Perez.
And these people,
Frederick
all this
Leathers in the Rumble chat.
So generous.
Yes, very generous.
Doc's Gal is in there. Ordinary Passenger. The Bones is in there.
I want to thank you guys, Drag Blacker and Jesus, $50. We can have heat tomorrow.
Drake 99.
Where?
Tea Leaf. Yeah, where?
Where?
Joe Ed Jr.'s in there. Marty Kinn. KT Frog is in the Rumble chat as well.
We're going to have to start a bottled water GoFundMe for the studio.
Patty Jamcat's saying she's not lying, man. She's got my back. What you going to do now, Big D?
Oh, no, I'm not going to do anything. She sounds like a lovely person. She just has a fat
Trash man. AA meeting starting soon. That's funny. Hi, I'm Paul.
Hi, I'm Paul.
6B Gutter Chat, I see you.
6B Getter Chat, I see you.
Tree Finder and the Twix.
You do not.
I see you, dogs. All right, 30 minminutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night, April 2nd. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. If you're watching on social media, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up, whatever they ask for on whatever platform you're watching on. We appreciate it as we continue to try to grow the social media numbers. Slick's got sports. Delgado's going to do the news. Paul Nolan's got some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Damon, can you turn the bottle so we can see that label?
Oh, good move.
Oh, I think the label is facing you.
There you go.
There you go.
It's a little lower than the thing. So, yeah, it's a good looking. It's a good looking bottle. So,
What?
Yeah,
it's back, Paul. You didn't notice it though.
Shenanigans.
Let's do some news.
Shenanigans.
Let's do some news. And here with that is Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
Well, I know, Damon, how much you love the poll, so I've got one for you. Trump
I love
ally.
polls, yes.
Trump ally Ken Paxton, believe it or not, would crush one of your favorites out of the Texas Senate primary, John Cornyn.
I would crush John Cornyn in Texas, and no one there even knows who I am, other than if they watch this show.
Exactly. According to this from
As
the
you
National
said, no one knows you.
Anybody should crush that loser.
According to this from the National Pulse, they do a new polling reveals that it shows Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, a prominent America First conservative, soundly defeating Senator John Cornyn, a moderate.
I mean,
quote.
I like Paxton too, but I don't know if I'd be holding that as like a badge of honor, beating Cornyn. I mean, that should be an absolute given.
So it has him soundly defeating John Cornyn. They, quote unquote, call him a moderate, another word for Democrat, who opposed President Donald J. Trump's candidacy in 2024 in the GOP primary race. Polling was conducted only over the course of 4 or 5 days, a couple months ago, January 28th to the February the 2nd, among only 600 Texas primary voters. Key quote is John Cornyn has waved the white flag on election integrity, border security, and protecting the Second Amendment, and everything else constitutional conservatives care about. The recent poll showed that the Texas Attorney General has strong support among GOP primary voters, signaling his potential to oust the incumbent Senator John Cornyn in a future U.S. Senate race. So there you have it. Again, a little bit of a poll for you, because I know you enjoy this stuff, and I know you're a big fan of John Cornyn.
Yeah. Negative.
Now, I know we were talking about Liberation Day today, which is, of course, at the behest of one Donald J. Trump. Here he is announcing it. Cut number 7 from the White House. Trump announcing Liberation Day right here. Cut 7.
Thank you. Nice crowd. What a good-looking group of people. Well, we have some very, very good news today, and a lot of good things are happening for our country. Please sit down.
him. He's great.
He is.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day. Waiting for a long time. April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. We're going to make it wealthy, good and wealthy. For decades, our country has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike. American steel workers, auto workers, farmers, and skilled craftsmen, we have a lot of them here with us today. They really suffered gravely. They watched in anguish as foreign leaders have stolen our jobs, foreign cheaters have ransacked our factories, and foreign scavengers have torn apart our once beautiful American dream. We had an American dream that you don't hear so much about. You did 4 years ago, and you are now, but you don't too often, and for many years and decades even, you didn't hear too much about. Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, so there he is kicking it off. Liberation Day, of course, he was at the White House today in the Rose Garden during the event. He unveiled his new import tariffs. The president and the White House posted those charts along with the ones that he had there, but they posted them on social media showing each country's purported level of tariffs and other trade barriers on the U.S. Those rates are not necessarily the only new tariffs these countries will face. So we'll see what happens. And again, it's a lot of these are reciprocal tariff rates, that more than 180 countries and territories are now set to face. So I know you said you had a lot more that you wanted to talk about with this, Damon. Here is Mr. Ontario Premier Doug Ford. Here he is. We talked about this earlier, about his argument for the tariffs and what he would do. Here's cut number 2, Doug Ford.
Moment. If, in fact, you're prepared to take your tariffs off, why wouldn't you have that negotiation and that conversation now before any tariffs get put in place?
Well, we've had this conversation for over the last month. We don't want tariffs. We have another $65 billion worth of tariffs to launch today. That's the last thing we want to do, because it's just, again, it's going to hurt both countries. It's going to hurt American workers. That's the last thing I want.
Andrew meant take the other ones off, not the ones you're launching today. The ones that you already got.
You're saying you take all your tariffs off. I'm saying
we will take them all. That's right.
Then why is that not? I guess my question is, why has all of that not already happened? And does President Trump know that you'd be prepared to do that?
He knows, and Secretary Lutnick knows that we're willing to take these tariffs off, like in the next minute, if he said he's taking their tariffs off. Let's look at the auto sector.
Yeah.
Are you? It's shut up, fat boy.
And listen, maybe this is the hope of the president and Howard Lutnick all over the world, that this is going to be the response.
This is the saber rattling.
And again, why I go back to my question, I said, if it comes to this, because maybe it doesn't come to this, that higher prices end up affecting anybody.
Look,
maybe this is all, again, still 4D chess, and we still have some time.
The American consumer freight train, you want to go head to head with it? What's going to happen? You're going to lose. We are the consumers of the planet. You know, there's just... Everybody owes us. In fact, there should be a reverse tariff. We get a discount, you want us to buy your stuff. That's what I say. Let's start a whole new boycott. We want 10% off everything.
Across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's the whole argument, right? He's sitting there saying, oh, we're not going to do these new tariffs if Trump doesn't do his. But he's called on the carpet there.
Yeah.
What about the ones you already have? How come you haven't taken those off?
Yeah.
Because that eliminates the problem. All of a sudden, Trump will be like, "Oh yeah, Canada's good, Ontario's good," because they've made it. They've taken out their tariffs before we had to do anything.
And unless I missed something, Canada's not even on the list today.
No, they're not on the list.
They're not even on the list today.
Yeah, didn't he
because of the MC, whatever the deal is that we cut.
USMCA.
Yeah. So they're not even on the list today. My understanding. Mexico and Canada weren't even on the list today. Is that not correct?
They were not on the list.
They were not on the list. But
okay.
China was on the list.
China's on the list. China's on there for 35 plus the 20 that was already there. So they're at 55 now.
Wow. China with tariffs, U.S. goods at a rate of 67%. So they nail us for 67%. They're going to face tariffs of 34%. Countries in the European Union that tariff
34 extra. There's already 20, so it's 54 total.
Right. So countries in the European Union that tariff U.S. goods at a rate of 39% are going to be tariffed another 20%. Vietnam's going to face a 46% tariff. Taiwan 32%. Japan 24%. India 26%, and South Korea 25%. The chart also includes 20 more nations as well.
I also believe the Senate tonight passed a bill, 51 to 48, I think I saw quickly, and I was reading social media, that to put an end to tariffs on Canada. Our own Senate on Liberation Day. Unless I misread that. I think that happened today as well. But let me get to Bob Lighthizer, who, of course, was President Trump's main tariff guy from 16 through 20 in term number 1. Because, again, there's a lot of takes on this from the experts. And Bob Lighthizer certainly is one of them, if not the preeminent expert on this, which is why Trump relied on him so heavily the first term. Bob Lighthizer just did an interview with Tucker Carlson. And Bob Lighthizer grew up in a small town in Ohio, and he said in that interview with Tucker that he recalls living in a small town where at the time children were proud of their parents, who felt a sense of dignity in their work, where parents envisioned a future for their kids where they could earn a decent wage, become a productive member of society. He spoke of seeing plants shutter, jobs then disappear. Globalization has failed us. And he said on Tucker Carlson, he said, what the White House and President Trump is doing, most Americans really don't understand it. And he says the system, globalization, has failed. And that is an empathetic yes, over emphatic yes, that's happened. He said, and to President Trump's credit, he's thought about this, talked about it since he was 35 years old. He said it often, and what I think is the essence of President Trump is that he thinks we're being ripped off. It's not that they're lazy or stupid. It's that we have a bad system, and it's destabilizing the country. Once you realize that, you realize that you have to do something. After national security, the purpose of the U.S. economy is to distribute resources and wealth so that most Americans can live the best lives possible. We have lost that. We just plain lost it. We've seen a real deterioration in the quality of life of our working class people. 2/3 of American workers have a high school education only. We've seen these people lose their jobs. We've seen their wages stagnate for 25 years. You've seen them have shorter lives. They're poorer. We've seen despair increase. All of this is the result of this failed attempt at globalization. There's a concept of the financialization of America. What they, Wall Street meaning, cared about was price optimization and how much people consume. They didn't care about, as a first principle, the benefit or detriment of the American people. The end of the George H.W. Bush's term and into Bill Clinton's, we America pursued the trifecta of stupid, as he called it. We do NAFTA, we do the WTO, and then the dumbest of them all in giving most favored nation treatment to China. We had 5 million manufacturing jobs lost. Real wages have not gone up since. When you lose manufacturing, you lose innovation. According to a study, America is behind China in 57 of 64 critical technology development criteria. We have fallen behind technologically. Lighthizer says, I have complete confidence that what President Trump will do, and he'll do what he said he was going to do regarding tariffs and trade rebalancing. He ran on big ideas. You have to put tariffs in place to offset the unfairness. When you do that, I do not think that you'll have inflation in a systemic, fundamental way, but you will have people in the supply chain that will have to make adjustments. Over a reasonably short period of time, I think you'll see a manufacturing renaissance. These new jobs, wages will go up. I'm praying for wage inflation. It will naturally transfer wealth from the finance class to the middle class.
Amen.
Tariffs, in order to get us in balance, is targeted to resolving the issue of unfairness. Chat. What's going on? Child of the King gifted 20 memberships. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was just getting ready to read that.
Oh, I did it again.
That's, yeah. Stay in your lane, pal.
You're all over the road.
One of these days. I know, I got to get my own show. I know.
I see green in front of me.
You
and
get excited. I know. Child of the King is such a great contributor to this chat and very, very generous. Thank you.
KT Frog 2760 on Rumble has gifted 5 subs.
Whoa, nice. All right.
So thank you for that.
Subs are coming in. What else we got going on?
Chat's going so fast tonight. I can't even read half
It
of it.
does go fast. Yeah. They get on a
It's
roll.
good stuff.
They're like ham and eggs sometimes.
Hey guys, are you going to have Kristen on again anytime soon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can have Kristen on again. I like Kristen.
Yeah, she's good.
5-time Emmy winner. Why not?
Yeah.
Well,
When is Mike Crispy coming on the show Friday?
Friday.
Whenever he wants. Coming on Friday. May sit with us the whole show. I don't know.
We still closed.
I got to figure
room.
out.
We're still working on the.
Yeah.
We're not ready for prime time.
No,
yet.
no. We still got too
Well, the
much.
show's
so
prime
now
time.
he's
Too much to do.
he's going to be Saturday, right?
His show's on Saturdays, I believe, at 8.
Okay.
Oh, Drag Blacker, Big D, with another $20. Oh, Drag Blacker coming in with $50 tonight so far. Millennials and Gen Z were raised on the mantra, go to college because blue-collar labor is a dead end. Now, the right, in particular, has spent years asking if that was one giant mistake to let that happen. Right, Big D? Tell these kids to get a trade these days. That's where it's at. Spend all that money on college. It's not for
man,
everybody.
tell me about it. I wish.
It's a good point.
That's what I tried to push.
Good point, Drag Blacker.
But pushing it upstream.
Yeah.
Carol says, hi, Damon. Love the show. Slick's getting feisty.
He's always feisty.
No.
I don't think he eats before he comes.
I ate.
He's always complaining that he doesn't have time to eat because he's too busy shaking hands.
No, Big D bought me Jersey Mike's last night. I had a nice turkey. Yeah, it was very
Say
good.
that again?
Big D bought me Jersey Mike's. No, Big D's always very generous. Except when it comes to stock in the refrigerator. We need cold water. I know. Go buy it.
Can he bring his own water, D?
All right, 13 to the hour. What am I doing? 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, it's still Wednesday.
Wednesday night, April 2nd, Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Slick's going to do some more sports in a second. Delgado will have some news in hour 2. Aaron and Fran holding it down. But right now, Mr. Nolan, Paul Nolan, is here, back from a vacation. Someone said, Damon, tell Paul to lay off the spray tan. We can tell the difference. And I said, oh, no.
Spray tan?
No spray tan here, my friend.
Who would have time to let someone get paint? What am I, Earl Scheib?
Earl Scheib, $99.99. Bumper to bumper, baby.
No spray tan here, my friend.
How about the undercarriage, Paul?
Paul,
Did they
that's
get
real
the undercarriage?
deal.
This is called carcinoma number 7.
Oh,
That's a natural leather.
talk about a burn-off period.
What did Fran say?
I said that's natural leather right there.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm starting to look like a saddlebag with eyes. I look like a catcher's mitt.
Rollings on his forehead.
All right, here's the catcher's mitt with some
Oh,
news.
be careful over there.
Mr. Nolan,
like a roadmap on my forehead.
what's caught your attention in
So
the news?
I'm sure you guys. I'm assuming Rick Delgado covered this while I was away, but I think this is pretty cool that
UFO
Argentina
story?
is set to declassify government-held files regarding the Nazi fugitives who fled and settled in Argentina after World War II. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this, but my tinfoil hat has been buzzing even on vacation. Documents will likely include Nazi-linked bank accounts and archival records detailing the use of Nazi rat lines, which were monetary and logistic pathways Nazis used to escape justice and flee for Argentina following the war. Guillermo Alberto Francos, Argentina's interior minister, made the announcement on Tuesday. And he said that it's estimated that up to 10,000 Nazis and other fascist war criminals escaped justice from the Holocaust atrocities by fleeing to Argentina and other Latin American countries. Have you guys been following this? Did you?
I've been following it, yes.
But it's pretty interesting when you see that notorious high-level Nazis, including Holocaust mastermind Adolf Eichmann, the Angel of Death, Joseph Mengele, they fled to the South American country, while rumors have swirled. Former Nazi Party leader Adolf Hitler also made it there, where there is reports that he lived till, I believe, 1965 and had 2 children.
Yeah. Yep.
And the skull that Russia says they have of Adolf Hitler has been DNA proven to be a female skull. So the conspiracy theories about this and Operation Paperclip look to be coming to fruition. So I think this is, I would love to see all these truths be exposed. I know some people say it's so old it doesn't matter anymore. But
it matters.
It matters because if you see the government, if they knew they can get away with stuff like this, then what can they get away with now with real control over the media? So.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even Argentina's President Milei declassified documents which confirms that Hitler had fled to Argentina after World War II, aided by the United States of America, where he lived for another 20 years and had 2 children, as you just said.
Yep.
And who's the guest of the who's the friend of the show? Oh man, what's his name?
He's that good of a friend.
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, guy's terrific. We went to different high schools together.
He was
him there.
one of your first guest.
Michael Knowles.
Michael
Knowles.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, sure.
he's even talking about this.
Michael Knowles.
Michael Knowles is talking about
Who's gotten
this.
so big now, I could book, well, I don't know, almost anybody before I can get him back on the show.
Right.
So what is,
So-
is that? Is,
We should start a vicious rumor that he owes you
was,
$20.
he was doing a podcast about this as well, talking about this stuff that's coming out. Yeah.
oh, okay. All right, very good.
So it's not just me,
I
Damon.
thought Fran was going to cue the crickets.
Not just
you
me.
know what you were saying there, Doug. You just stopped. I didn't know if there was more to
He
your
was
story.
fired up.
It's almost like the synapses stop firing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, for a second.
Short
very good.
circuit.
Well, because when you find out that your CIA kind of aided the world's worst criminal to get away and have a fruitful life for another 20 years, it's kind of pisses you off.
After it decimated our greatest ally in Israel, they'll go ahead and all the Jews. So that's what they do, just because they needed the scientists to make the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
Crazy, just crazy. So, the devil himself, the head of DOGE, he says federal agencies are offering a second round of buyouts as mass firings continue. Federal agencies have begun offering employees a second chance to accept a buyout as these firings come amid the DOGE purge. The government initially offered a sweeping buyout of federal employees to resign and secure pay through September 30th. The current buyout repeats the offer, and it comes directly from the respective federal agencies rather than the OPM. Thus far, Departments of Defense, Agriculture, Energy, Housing, and Urban Development and Transportation have offered such buyouts. So I think this is incredible that we're going to continue to reduce the bloat. Elon Musk continues to do everything he's supposed to do for DOGE and to eliminate the wasteful, disgusting spending. But I found this cute clip of the devil himself as we all talk about him.
Can I just say, I want to, because I know some people in the chat were talking about it. Elon says, by the way, that this bogus rumor today about him leaving or Trump telling the insiders that he's going to be gone soon is nonsense.
Yeah, that's...
That he's going to leave when they're done, whenever that is. And Caroline Levitt, I believe, also said, this quote unquote scoop is a bogus scoop. So I wouldn't put any weight as of right now in the idea that there's some kind of tension between them and Trump saying, okay, maybe it's time for you to move on. I don't think we're there yet. We may get there at some point, and we may not get there. We just may get to a point where he feels like he's done and it's time to go back to focus on delivering cars or whatever, since they were down 13%. And I think the deliveries last quarter, which is not great for Tesla, but as President Trump said, the guy's there because he's a patriot. He's almost, I don't want to say obviously he's worried about it, but he's almost put his companies on the back burner to some degree.
He's got to be worried. Not just that, his bottom line, but I mean the death threats, the violence towards him and his family. I mean, there's
Maria Bartiromo had a tweet today.
I saw that,
and I noticed it and I read it because and I think she's probably right on the money. And she effectively said, I'll paraphrase, don't underestimate how close this guy is to probably being really over the target as far as finding fraud in specific people in government. And don't underestimate what the threats that this guy may be incoming right now to him, to his family, to everything else. To obviously, we're seeing what's happened outwardly to his businesses and his cars and his dealerships.
Scary.
But don't underestimate what could be going on privately in his own world, that he's getting this close to really unraveling some things.
And you think about the monster. I'm sorry.
I hope he has a hell of a security team. I really hope he has a hell of a security team.
You think about this monster he's going up against. We're talking about 80 years of corruption, embedded corruption. The nepotistic corruption is so deep, and these guys, everybody's covering for everybody. And it's as simple as, all right, we got to get rid of him. All right. Right. That's how simple this is to these people. I mean, everybody who comes up with a case of whistleblower comes up with a case of lead poisoning. So we see it happening all the time.
Well, he talked about it with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You know that he said,
That's why I shouldn't be saying this.
That's why I'm not so impatient with everybody, but I do think they're trying to take on a monstrosity that's very, very difficult to unravel. So that's why I'm trying to be patient with no arrests yet. I know that's the big rallying cry for the left right now. If they were so corrupt, why are there no arrests? It's just a nonsensical argument. It's a straw man. But I do believe at this point that they are getting closer to the bottom.
Here's specifically what she said, so I don't butcher her statement. She said, I would not be surprised if Elon Musk is getting threatened. He is getting awfully close to criminality and fraud by Democrats. He is exposing everything, and people are probably trying to bully him. Don't underestimate how tough it is to do what he is doing. Sure, the White House says he'll stay until he is done, and the story is probably not true right now, but I have no doubt some are out to get him and want him to stop before they are exposed, and it's tough to handle. Don't kid yourself. So that's from Maria.
She's one tough cookie.
She's a tough cookie, boy. And she's a lot of truth to that, I would bet.
I wouldn't put it past if they already do know, if they already do have names.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Elon responded actually to that. I just saw it with a 100% underneath. All right, hour 2 coming up.
I wonder how it's time to tweet it. Who said it's a spray?
Do we have a DS tonight, Fran?
Yes.
We do?
Yes.
Who is it?
Miles Gramont.
Oh, it's not Julian Barbieri.
No, she's tomorrow night.
Is she?
She's
Oh,
tomorrow
she's
night.
tomorrow
Oh,
night.
okay.
Okay.
I can't hear her name and not think of that Eric Andre show.
I know you sent me that clip.
That show was hysterical. You would like it. It was demented. It takes a really immature grown-up to like it.
Thank you.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Daniel Horowitz says Senate reconciliation bill is out. $5.2 trillion in tax cuts overall, with a $1.5 trillion cost ceiling on new provisions that weren't part of the 2017 law. $5 trillion debt limit increase. Oh my God. $345 billion in new DHS DOD spending. Mentions an aspiration of $2 trillion in cuts over 10 years, but only mandates $5 billion in cuts. $1 billion each in 5 committees: agriculture, banking, energy, and natural resources. Not a single transformational policy out of the most important piece of leverage in years.
Jesus Perez. I'm getting a $30,000 robot so he can cut my grass. You ever see those they're like those Rumbas but for your lawn?
No.
The lawnmowers with the same.
Imagine that thing clogs. Oh, my God.
Imagine it hits your cat.
I had a friend that tested one of those for Forbes about 5 or 6 years ago. He liked it until it hit something.
Oh, that just burns a hole in the lawn?
It just kind of gets stuck and doesn't know what to do, and he's got one spot in his yard that was very, very short.
Dug a hole. Are we getting hate mail again?
Oh, it's just amazing how some Republicans and conservatives already. Republicans, don't be surprised when you're destroyed in the midterms. This is from someone who works at, who is this? DC Examiner. Isn't that a pretty conservative outlet, or maybe it's not?
Does anyone else feel like there was something fishy in Wisconsin? If the Democrats have a 27% approval rate, how did they win that election? And hasn't Wisconsin mastered stuffing ballots and ballot harvesting?
I mean, you think about the Scott Walker days of Wisconsin. It was all conservatives all the way down the line. Supreme Court, governor. They've flipped everything in the whole state.
I'm not buying
Lost
it,
everything.
Man. We're on vacation. A friend of ours was from my friend's friend. They live in Florida now too. We're from Wisconsin. They can't believe that. They don't believe it for a second. They don't know anybody who's like.
2, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Wednesday night. Glad you're in. Paul Nolan's doing some news. Rick Delgado's going to have some more news as well. Slick's got sports coming up here in a second. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Want to welcome everybody who's watching on Real America's Voice, or if you're watching on social media, with X, Rumble, Facebook, Getter, YouTube, wherever you're watching. Welcome on in. Kick, we appreciate it. Our poll is still up. If it comes to this, are you okay paying higher prices for your daily items because it's Trump who's doing it? 87% of people say yes. 13% say no, and there's been some good comments on why and how people are thinking about this. And that poll is still available, I believe. 21 hours left. We'll see what the final numbers are, but it looks like an overwhelming to yes, people don't have a problem paying higher prices. Yeah. And I just gave you the Bob Lighthizer take on tariffs, who, of course, was President Trump's tariff kind of guy in his first term. And I think he makes a very well-reasoned argument to Tucker on the president's long-term vision here and how he's thought about this since, like he said, he was 35 years old. And we've seen all that. To some degree, we've all seen the clips growing. Remember, it was on Oprah. She asked him if he'd run for president. What did he say? We're just sick of seeing the country getting taken advantage of. It's a theme that he has espoused for as long as he's been doing TV. Mm-hmm. So in some respects, I think that's what he's referring to. But the whole idea of globalization and what it's done to the U.S. economy and to the U.S. worker as well, and how we're behind China in 57 of 64 critical technology development criteria. And this idea that the president is sold on tariffs creating the golden age of America, for a golden age for America. So we'll get more into this. I'll give you the other side. Jay Davidson, who wins in this tariff war? We'll go through some of the numbers. So a little bit of a different take. So we'll do that as well coming up. But let's do a little sports right now. We didn't do it in the last segment. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Slick's got it. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, Nigerian boxer dies suddenly after collapsing mid-fight. This is Simon Kenner, Breitbart Sports. Nigerian boxer Gabriel Alaswaskan Alan Rawahu, 40, collapsed and died suddenly during a bout at the Bukum Boxing Arena in Accra, Ghana. Alan Rawahu, 13-8-1, 12 KOs, was facing John Mbangano, 13-1-1, 12 KOs in an 8-round light heavyweight fight Saturday night when the tragedy occurred. The former national and West African champion in his weight class lost consciousness in the third round of his Ghana Professional Boxing League contest after staggering and falling backwards. The Ghana Boxing Authority, GBA, confirmed the news of his death, stating that after receiving first aid, Alo Wasagun was rushed to the Korlebu Teaching Hospital, where he was pronounced dead 30 minutes after arrival. The GBA added Mbangano did not hit Alo Wasagun directly before he collapsed in the ring. Video of the fight shared on social media supported this. Alo Wasagun appeared unconscious as the referee waved for help. The BBC reports General Secretary of the Nigeria Boxing Board of Control, Remi Adolaran, described Alo Wasagun as a fearless fighter who died a ring warrior. We are really devastated. Adolaran told BBC Sport Africa, this is not something we envisaged. We will live up to our responsibility and make sure that we stand by his family. Alo Wasagun had an official record of 23 fights with 13 victories and 8 defeats before his bout with Mbangano. So sad story there over in Ghana. Very tragedy in sports. And just one more story before I get to
where was that story from?
That was in Ghana. Yeah.
No, well, like what out of what?
Breitbart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Simon Kent from Breitbart covered that. Yep. And hold on one second. I got to get this with another story here on ESPN. Lost that story. Excuse me one second. Got to get this real quick. I lost the sport.
Let's go out to the kitchen.
Ovechkin got another goal tonight, 892. This is from Raleigh, North Carolina. Alex Ovechkin moved 3 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's NHL record after scoring his 892nd of his career in the Washington Capitals game at Carolina earlier tonight. Ovechkin beat Frederik Andersen on a 5-on-3 power play with 34.5 seconds left in the second period. So they're looking good for Ovechkin coming in with the possibility possibility of breaking that record. The other story I wanted to weigh in is that there was 10 bids for a professional NFL flag football league. I lost the story, but that's what ESPN's reporting. So it looks like they're looking to have a men and women's professional NFL league for flag football.
Two separate leagues.
Two separate leagues.
Not a co-ed league.
None of that craziness, Paul.
Good.
Yeah, no men and women's sports.
So I'm not a sports guy, as you know. And is that a lot of goals for a vet? Is that?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Anyway, I'm throwing the flag in on that report. That's a wrap in sports. Big D, back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. John Rich from Big and Rich tonight said the biggest threat to Trump's agenda is not the Democrats, it's the Republicans. And he points to the passing tonight, and I was right, U.S. Senate passes measure to terminate Trump's tariffs on Canada, 51-48. So, yeah.
I just don't understand why they're not letting them negotiate this. But that's what you get from Mitch McConnell, who somehow or another keeps defying the laws of physics,
nature.
Lord, I mean,
and he thaws himself out long enough to make it and push people around with all the money he controls.
He's more doped up than Biden was.
Oh man.
Automaton.
So J.P. Morgan Chase came out with a statement today after the Liberation Day announcement, and they said on a static basis, today's announcement would raise just under $400 billion in revenue, or about 1.3% of GDP, which would be the largest tax increase since the Revenue Act of 1968. We estimate that today's announced measures could boost PCE prices by 1 to 1.5% this year, and we believe the inflationary effects would mostly be realized in the middle quarters of the year. The resulting hit to purchasing power could take real disposable personal income growth in Q2, Q3 into negative territory, and with it, the risk that real consumer spending could also contract in those quarters. This impact alone could take the economy perilously close to slipping into recession. And this is before accounting for the additional hits to gross exports and to investment spending. Headlines about retaliatory measures by U.S. trading partners are already coming out, and we expect to learn more in the coming days. The somewhat confusing nature of today's news, coupled with uncertainty over how long these tariffs will remain in place, should make for an even less friendly environment for investment spending, though that is one way to narrow the saving investment imbalance and hence narrow the current account deficit. We plan to revisit our forecast later in the week, which is a good lead in to Jay Davidson's article today after this announcement that says, who wins in this tariff war? And Mr. Davidson makes the argument that this is just a race to the bottom. Who can hurt their consumers worse? There's always a counterparty and a counter-reaction to any economic stimulus. In this case, the U.S. consumer pays the tariff on imported items because the importer or seller or business passes the tariff through to the consumer just as it does taxes. The consumer decides the price is too high and then finds another non-imported item to buy eventually. In the interim, the consumer pays the tariffs. The tax collected goes to the coffers of the U.S. government. Tariffs are just another transfer of wealth from the consumer taxpayer, you, to the government. These tariffs are estimated to reduce our GDP by 1%. In what alternative universe does transferring this vast amount of money from the consumer to the U.S. government help? President Trump and his tariffs are hurting the tax-paying citizen the president is sworn to protect. He's also tearing down federal controls in spending and taxation. So why is he imposing more government on foreign trade? The following was only one side of the transaction. The other side is the business in a foreign nation, from our perspective, the exporter. They will experience a slowdown due to the artificial price increase from tariffs on their exports. Tariffs are thought, at least by President Trump, to harm the foreign nation by depressing tax revenues through these tariffs by slowing down the foreign nation's business activity. But both nations are imposing tariffs, so the only thing that matters is the trade differential. the difference between what we import from another country and what we export to that same country. If the foreign trade balance is equal, the net effect is equal, 0. To the nations involved, the tariffs have no effect. It's just the citizens in each country that are impacted. So the answer to the question is both sides suffer in a tariff war. The government doesn't suffer. The citizens suffer. The individuals suffer. Tariffs are all posturing and bluster. As Shakespeare said, life is but a poor player strutting and fretting his hour upon the stage, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Where are Trump's economic advisors on tariffs? Who blinks first? If Trump wants a permanent long-term solution, and I think he truly does, he should continue to remove our government's boot print from free enterprise, reduce taxation and regulation, and let the people keep more of what they earn, and they will invest their earnings in the best, most competitive product and thereby boost the best businesses. It is the duty of individuals and businesses to find the right product offering and make it attractive enough to generate sales. This transaction is strictly voluntary. Capitalism at its best. It is decided by the individual of his own free will, not imposed on him by his government. So that's a little different take on it. What do you think?
I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Right. We can. I mean, there's a belief on one side, there's a belief on the other. There are theories, but I guess the proof is going to be what we see coming down the pike.
And I think what's important to address with that is things are going to change as this evolves. This will be moving. This is a moving play. Like, this is going to change as people react. This is going to be I think this is going to be like a living, breathing project, so to speak. So it's hard to make a full-blown prediction at this point, but long-term tariffs, if it becomes a constant keep tacking money on, no one's going to buy anything. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to have the opposite effect.
Let's go to the chat. Tree Finder on X. The chat is more informative. Damon is not an economist. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
You never claimed that you were.
Did I pose myself as one?
Never.
Okay, thank you. God.
Come on.
Some of that chat is exhausting. I mean, I don't know how many people here have read Hayek or Mises or Murray Rothbard, but I spent a lot of time reading those economic books with like punishment.
All right, we'll do more sports news coming up live from Studio 6B.
Face transgender opponent. Yep, accepting punishment.
Oh, the fencing?
Yeah.
Wait.
We have the video clip.
Oh, you have that story?
Yeah. I hope they don't take offense.
Who?
Worked the first time.
Get it? Fencer?
Fence.
Yeah. I just try to fend off the comments here. What? Like, the guy died from Nigeria.
I'm surprised you didn't bet on that.
I pronounced the names good.
I thought you bet on that fight.
Why? The guy died. That was a big story on Breitbart. It was.
And where was he from?
Nigeria.
I thought you said Ghana.
Well, Ghana was where the fight was.
Ghana.
He's a Ghana.
That was terrible.
That's not funny. It's too soon.
I know. It's too serious.
Hold on. Everyone cover your mouth.
That was tough.
That was hysterical.
Big D was getting punchy over that story.
It is really glad that he has a read
No,
here.
I wasn't getting punchy. I was just trying to figure out what the heck.
Oh, then I lost a flag football story. It was on ESPN when I went to swipe it. That guy, they threw a flag on it. But Ovechkin saved me with 892, baby. Oh, I can't believe Ovi's going to break Gretzky's record. That is crazy. I never thought that would happen. But they say records are made to be broken. That assist record will never be broken. That I can assure you. Gretzky's assist record will never.
Sofa King Nuts 22. What was the band? Let me know, and I'll tell you if we saw it. I saw your comment here in the chat.
Sofa King Bad. That's a good name. Sofa King.
Reminder, you have a read here and a guest at 9:30.
Yeah.
Hey, am I rubbing my my spray tan off?
Can't believe somebody said spray tan. Child of the King, $10 in the super chat. Hey guys, someone to hold in chat want to give some love.
Boy, they would charge a fortune to spray tan my whole body.
Someone want to hold in chat. I don't know.
Just not enough paint.
Like fine Corinthian leather.
Thomas Dowd says, good show, guys. Greg Black, Sofa King is Harry Oates at Live from Studio 6B.
How's Harry doing?
All right, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Sound like the blues. Let me talk to you about our friends over at Birch Gold. Tariff wars, recession fears, stubborn inflation. No wonder gold has been routinely hitting all-time highs in 2025. In volatile markets like right now, don't sit on the sidelines with your head in the sand. Take control and safeguard your savings. That's why so many Americans today are turning to the Birch Gold Group. They've helped tens of thousands convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. It's time for you to hedge against inflation and economic instability with gold. I think it probably is. To learn how to own physical gold in a tax-sheltered account, text the word America to 989898. Birch Gold will send you a free, no-obligation information kit. Again, text the word America. Send it to the number 989898. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, countless 5-star reviews. I trust Birch Gold to help me protect my savings with gold, and you can too. Took decades to get into this tangled mess they're trying to unpack now. How long will it take to get out of it, and at what cost? Text America to 989898 and do it today. All right, 18 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some news. News is brought to you by our friends at Freedom Force Nutrition. And here with that is Rick Delgado. Delgado, what's going on?
All right, well, here's a story I know that's right up your alley, Damon. As a House bill that is rooted in the belief that aircraft in the sky over the state of Florida are seeding dangerous chemicals into the atmosphere is going to the floor of the chamber for full consideration in Florida. I'm talking about the Weather Modification Activities Bill, HB 477, last night in Florida. It passed its first hurdle, 17-0. And it will go on now to the next part of the process. Here's the Florida lawmaker Kevin Steele introducing the legislation. Cut number 6. Here he is talking about it to ban, you guessed it, chemtrails, cut number 6.
I'm not here to make you believe chemtrails exist, which are scientifically proven that they exist. I'm not here to make you believe that chemtrails are real. I think the individual who actually owns the industry that says he cloud seeds kind of indicated that those things are real and not necessarily things that he does. And I'm not here to make you believe or make you find it truthful that cloud seeding exists, even though the guy who gets paid to do that does it. I'm here to tell you that I'm against heavy metals being sprayed over our state on every level. It doesn't matter how it's done, whether it's through aerosol spray, through organizations that are hired to do this. I think those heavy metals we know scientifically cause major health issues for every single human being that exists on planet Earth. It causes you to inhale it if it's done. It causes you to absorb it in your skin if it's done, and it causes you to ingest it when you eat your food or eat your crops that are being delivered to the stores that we buy all that stuff from. So my argument today would be, that we look at it from that perspective, not from the idea that I'm wearing a tin hat and I'm up here to debate something that isn't real or is real. It's the fact that they can do that, whoever they is. I listed out several companies that are actually listed in there that do some of those aerosol sprays. And they shouldn't be allowed to do that in our state of Florida. With that, I ask that you support my bill.
Thank you. Closing on HB 477. Faith, please call the roll.
And there you go. So the House Natural Resources and Disaster Subcommittee approved the Weather Modifications Activities Bill. It's going to, if approved by the full legislature, of course, prohibit certain acts that he just explained there that affect the temperature, weather, and intensity of sunlight within the atmosphere of the state. That was Representative Kevin Steele, a Tallahassee Republican. So how about them apples?
Well, have you seen the way CNN is framing it? This is the CNN headline on this subject. State lawmakers are looking into a ban of a non-existent thing called chemtrails. It could have real-life side effects. So this is the way they're framing it. But there are companies that are commissioned to do this. It's been going on since NAM. I mean, cloud seeding is real. And, the same corporations like Monsanto has made food supplies that are resistant to all the ingredients that are in those aerosol sprays. So, the notion that it doesn't exist is just so laughable. I mean, this is how the world we live in. You just look at the flight patterns.
Yeah.
In no place, no shape or form would they all be making X's over each other on a beautiful day.
Right, and it
just
water.
Wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it's just water.
Yeah, it's just water that lasts, and then it makes a weird color behind the sun, a green and purple and yellow rainbow as opposed to the real rainbow. It's the weirdest thing. So I just don't know, if it's doing any good or not. But
I love the fact that he points out all the companies and the people that actually do that stuff as proof that it does get done.
It's been going on for so long.
Yeah,
it's just.
And what was the point of the bill? To stop it happening over Florida?
Right, yeah. They've already passed similar bills. I think in Tennessee they passed one.
It's loaded
I think
with
in Maryland they passed one. There's a representative out of Miami who's been pushing this as well.
I know Rhode Island is fighting it. I know some European countries have banned it. So
I think Ohio has also passed a bill. So you're not allowed to do it anymore.
To me, the argument that they don't exist, the existence of them alone, that to me is just where the problem really lies. That CNN has to frame it that they don't exist.
Meanwhile, last year, ABC, the morning show on ABC, whatever, I think it's Good Morning America, did a segment on cloud seeding and showed you the plane with the little nozzles, and it's amazingly stupid that they're trying to tell everybody, but this isn't really happening.
Right. There's recent video of a plane unloading the canister on the runway accidentally in a malfunction. There are hundreds of reports that, you can't find them on YouTube really as much as you could, but if guys former military on their local news channel saying this is chaff, this is cloud seeding, watch these planes, the existence is real. Frustrating.
And is the danger more to the people on the ground or to the atmosphere, Paul?
For me, I just think, I don't know. I can't say where the danger is because it's so hard to get real information. But, for the patents to have food ready or seedings ready for these things, like at Mount Shasta, there was they did tests in the barium, the aluminum, and some of the other things that were so over the top. They did tests all over Hawaii. These places with great, quiet, natural atmospheres have been pummeled. But there's links to Alzheimer's, especially from barium and aluminum. So I don't know. All I know is let's just talk about it, but we can't even have a real conversation because they say they don't exist, which is
and then we have that. Remember that clip we played of?
Did you have an answer to that? I'm just curious. More danger to the people on the ground, or more danger to what it's doing?
I think it's more dangerous to the people on the ground because it's got to land. It's going to land on you, or it's going to land on the things that you're going to put in your body.
Yeah.
So one of those two. Plus, you also had that person, Chris and Megan, who's been doing, yeoman's work on this stuff for
she
years.
used to be in my old group, and I know Kristen. I used to know her very well through our Facebook debate groups. She's a warrior, an absolute warrior. I'd love to get her on this show.
So you got that. And I know that we were talking about the Wisconsin election last night where Crawford wins the seat for the Democrats. But believe it or not, they're saying there was some shenanigans going on, believe it or not. Ballot shenanigans in Wisconsin. Here's cut number 3 where they're talking about that, where some places ran out.
What was the final tally just before you play the clip? What was the percentage?
I think she won by 9 points.
9?
Yeah. But quick clip here where they talk about, some places ran out of ballots. Where have we heard about that?
Why?
Cut 3.
The executive director of the Milwaukee Election Commission, that multiple sites were either running low or ran out of ballots. At least those were the reports that they were getting earlier this evening. Now, according to the executive director, they are sending more resources to these places, trying to make sure that they have what they need. We obviously still have some time to go until polls close. We initially got that notice around 30 minutes ago, so she noted there was still an hour left, and they were trying to make sure these resources got to these places. But 7 sites in particular, she noted, had no ballots, or at least made reports of having no ballots.
Yeah. So there you go. What a surprise. Running out of ballots on Election Day. Where have we seen that before?
All right, Miles Grimard from Brickhouse Nutrition will join us when we get back. 26 past the hour, right after this.
You'll like this one, Paul. 2 million user international pedophile ring busted. 2 million user.
What site is that from?
From Breitbart. Europol busted them. A massive international pedophile network spanning over 30 countries shut down dozens of arrests. Only dozens were made relating to child porn, according to the Europol police agency.
Breitbart. I don't see this story. I've been combing Breitbart all day. Do you subscribe to Breitbart, or you just?
No, it was just on the website.
Yeah, I don't see that story. Oh, that's good on Breitbart. Neil Young calls Donald Trump the worst president in history.
Well, it's Neil Young.
A lot of times I confuse him with Stephen King now.
Sergeant Arb's got a good idea. How about Delgado? You do the interview since you're a customer. And me and Slick can go out and have a little shot of bourbon.
I think you did an interview with him one time, didn't you?
No, it was the other guy.
Oh,
it was the other person.
Was it the guy that you had the something? No, it wasn't. Okay, yeah.
No.
That was a good.
I think you should, while I do the interview, Delgado, we just have a side box of you just flexing.
That would seal the deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. To show off,
Flex seal.
That's what you can look like.
You too can look like this. And let's go to the Child of the King in the YouTube chat. $20.20. If you cheat, you will be exposed. Do it right and shine before the Lord God Almighty. Amen. Child of the King, thank you very much.
Have you guys talked about Kid Rock revealing some of the meeting?
Well, we played a clip yesterday, right?
Yep.
He had a nice suit on, too. Like suit right there.
Whoa, this chat is flying.
Mr. and Mrs. V, Neil Young is a Canadian. That's the truth.
Yeah, mind your business. We only have 318 likes. That's not good. We need like 418. Child of the King, so nice of you and good to see you in the chat.
Paul, did you do Final Four on the LFS 6B or no? Did you pick?
Did.
30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Slick's going to do some more sports. Delgado will touch on some more news. Paul Nolan will touch on some more news as well before we wrap it up on a Wednesday. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Of course, we'll be back in here in the studio tomorrow night and then Friday over at the America First Warehouse. Joe DeBox and his crew over there will be there again on Friday, and we continue to step on down the road, getting closer to an audience at the America First Warehouse. That's coming up probably May 2nd, but we'll talk more about that the closer we get. But right now, please welcome back to the show the CEO of Brick House Nutrition and the creator of Lean. That's Miles Grimard. Miles, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Doing amazing. Hey, thanks for having me back. I'm loving that Cowboys helmet I'm seeing over there.
There you go. Well, welcome back to the show. It's always good to have you on. Miles is the founder and CEO of Brick House Nutrition. He's recognized as an expert in the field of nutrition, nutraceuticals, and the creator of a weight loss supplement called Lean. When you look at the market as a whole, in the market you guys are in, how many fruit and vegetable drinks, supplements are on the market?
Well, that's actually referring to our Field of Greens product, and there's actually 7,000 or so on the market currently. So there's a lot of competition out there. We stand out because we're the one product that's actually not technically a supplement. It's actually we have a nutrition facts panel, which means our product is actually just a food. And that's what sets us mainly apart from the other 7,000 out there. And that along with what we put into it. So we have the best doctors in the industry choosing the fruits and vegetables based on how they affect each part of your body, whether it's your heart health, liver health, skin health, and metabolism. It's really the best doctors putting everything into there.
Yeah. When you talk about it, and you talk about like kind of like doctors and you talk about supplements and 7,000 of them being on the market. No, I mean, you're here to talk about your product, not to make you talk about others. But of those 7,000, would you have a guess of how many of those you think would be effective enough for a doctor to actually notice a health difference? Which is, I guess, if you're not going to take something to improve your health to a point where a doctor says to you, hey, what are you doing? This is better. Your numbers are better. This is better. What's the point of taking it? Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right. And I believe we're the only one. And that's why we do have a doctor health guarantee. And the thing about the market is, especially when it comes into supplements and nutrition, a lot of people, they know they need their fruits and vegetables every day. So they can go in, they're going to see a fruit and vegetable product, but they don't necessarily take the time to look at why one is more than the other in terms of price, what the difference is. They just know they need their fruits and vegetables, so they can take one thing. And the difference is why Field of Greens was brought to the attention and why we developed it is because the doctors realized there's this gap in the market of, all right, people know they need this, but they're taking a lot of them out there that it's not doing anything. So that's why Field of Green was developed. And there's two ways to know this product is working. Is one, you're going to feel it. And two is your doctor is going to say you're doing better. So we have a doctor health guarantee, which is if you take it for 2 months and next time you see your doctor, if they're not saying, yeah, you're doing better, we give a full refund. And that's the best way to know if something's working for you is your doctor, your own trusted doctor tells you it's doing what it should.
Yeah. And I can tell you this. I know Rick Delgado, who's sitting over here to my right, is a customer of yours. There hasn't been any refunds to him. I would think I would think given how he talks about your product, your refund level is pretty low.
Yeah. There's almost none. We've had to date one, and we've been doing this deal for a while. And even that one, the person, they had a rough life. They had diabetes and a lot of stuff, but we gave their money back. There's only been one to date. So. Yeah,
good stuff. So if the audience is interested in trying Field of Greens, how do they go about trying it? Where do they order?
Yeah, they go to fieldofgreens.com, and we're running a promo for your audience. If you type in RAV, R-A-V, they'll get 20% off their first order. And try it out, and try the doctor guarantee.
Yeah,
no risk.
Field of Greens, Field singular, fieldofgreens.com, all one word. Use promo code RAV for 20% discount. That's promo code RAV at fieldofgreens.com. Miles, always appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks for a few minutes.
Thank you so much for having me back. I appreciate it. Look forward to next time.
All right, 34 past the hour, live from Studio 6B.
I think we should do the Max Fat Challenge. He should send some product here, and I'll take it religiously, and we'll see how much weight I could possibly lose. Because this chair is screaming right now.
Do you want to mix in your taste here before you start that, or do you want to make that part of your weight loss challenge?
No, we'll
I don't think Field of Greens approves of mixing Vermont maple bourbon into it, but maybe it's a new recipe.
You know what? It sounds like Field of Green bourbon.
Yeah, it could be.
That's it.
But you should go to fieldofgreens.com if it's something that interests you. Delgado swears by it. I'm not just saying that because he's on. I mean, Delgado absolutely swears by it. He's been using it before we even had him on the show.
I live on 5 hours of sleep a day.
Wow.
I don't go
Does
to
that
the
include
doctor.
your nap?
Yeah. That includes
And
my
the 2
nap.
hours
5
you're here?
hours tops.
Yeah, the 2 hours you sleep while you're here. That's a good one, Slick. That's a good one.
From downtown.
I like that
The
one,
audience
Slick.
thinks I should be on the Max Fat Challenge.
Give us another Uganda boxing story.
Oh, shots fired.
Oh, shots
hey, don't get so
fired.
punchy over that story. Come on.
Oh,
Poor guy
man.
died.
All right, well, we'll see what Delgado's
So
story's
did the
got lined
audience
up.
during that segment.
Roswell Rick here.
Let's do this. Well, first of all, on a Wednesday night, April 2nd, your Epstein name drop alert arrest news of the night. Here it is. Rick Delgado, what do we got?
Here it is, Damon. Right from the press, hot off it. Look at that.
All right.
Wow.
No name drops, no arrests as of today, April 2nd. We will check back with Rick Delgado tomorrow for more news on your Epstein name drop arrest news. That more coming up tomorrow. Let's get to the other news of the day and hear what that is. Still, Rick Delgado, what's going on?
It's very exciting stuff. I can't wait to get to tomorrow's update. It's going to be just as exciting. We were talking to Paul Nolan in the break. I mentioned this headline to him: a 2 million user international pedophile child porn ring was busted by Europol. This massive international pedophile network, this coming from Breitbart.com, spanning over 30 countries, was shut down with dozens of arrests, and only dozens were made relating to child porn, according to the Europol police agency, announced earlier today. The European Union Agency for Law Enforcement Cooperation said that the darknet child porn platform KidFlix, I guess they were hiding in plain sight there, has been shut down under the direction of the Bavarian State Criminal Police Office in Germany. Europol said the platform had an estimated 1.8 million users throughout the world, with investigations being coordinated across 35 countries. So far, 79 people have been arrested, and nearly 1,400 further suspects have been identified. So that's a good move in that direction. According to the investigators, the site had over 91,000 child porn videos before it was shut down, with an average of 3.5 videos being uploaded to the site every hour.
That's insane.
How disgusting is that? In exchange for paying a fee to the site, users were able to stream and upload videos of child sex abuse. So just another disgusting part of this place we call Earth. The dirtbags that are out there. It's unbelievable. But thankfully, this one gets shut down, and hopefully it leads to others and more people getting arrested and charged and thrown into prison for the rest of their lives, because you get something like this, there's no talking it through. You don't go through therapy for this. Yeah. You are a broken person.
Give them a weapon and go on the front lines of Ukraine and fight the war. Go ahead.
Exactly.
The real Bruce Lee on X says, I'm hoping and heard the reason they're holding Epstein info because of investigations.
Yeah, they could be. But again, I just want some names. Give us some names. Mm-hmm. If we know who's under investigation, that's fine. They know they're under investigation, right? Anyhow, I know we were talking about the ballot shenanigans in Wisconsin. Of course, they were talking about how much money was spent over in Wisconsin. Billionaire Elon Musk helped President Trump abruptly change the federal government in the opening weeks of the year. Musk and his affiliated groups sunk $21 million into flipping the Wisconsin Supreme Court to conservative control, only to see the candidate defeated by 10 percentage points on Tuesday, the losing margin 4 points larger than that of any of the only other Republican in the same statewide ballot that was not tied to Musk money. Of course, the big story was coming out of CNN was Jake Tapper talking about, oh my goodness, all this money being spent on elections, but it's okay when the Democrats do it. Here's cut number one. You can see Jake Tapper talking about it himself. Cut one. Check this out.
Well, what's interesting about it is you heard anytime anybody brings this up, a Republican will say, well, what about J.B. Pritzker and what about George Soros and what about this, what about that? And I guess the answer is you don't see George, first of all,
George Soros
you don't see them out there talking.
No.
Right? I mean, they might be giving money to organizations, this and that, and people can criticize that if they want. But the idea that, like, oh, no, I am going to tell these voters, forget, like, hiring Scott Walker to do it or somebody on the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm going to tell them.
Right. No, he has to suck up all the oxygen. There's only one other person that needs more attention, is Donald Trump.
Yeah, so that's the reason it's okay for Soros and all the lefty Democrats to give billions and billions of dollars. I think what they shell out over $9 million for that Florida seat. Alone for the Democrat who lost to the guy, the Republican, who only raised about $800,000.
Yeah,
but
in a Trump district plus 40,
right?
How much should you have to raise?
But of course, if he talks about it, that's what makes him evil. That's why they don't like Elon Musk, because he was talking about it. So
well, I think there's many issues about last night. But in Wisconsin, the big issue that I think Republicans have to figure out is how to get their low propensity voters out if Trump's name is not on a ballot.
Yeah.
I mean, if voters are not going to show up unless Trump's name is on a ballot, as far as I know the president's been saying things about a third term, but most likely his name's not going to be on another ballot. I mean, people have got to get out and vote on these things.
Yeah. Simple as that. One last cut for you here, Damon, as Elon Musk confirms that they know who's funding the attacks on Tesla. Cut 4, here's Elon.
This is fundamentally a case of terrorism. It's wide-scale domestic terrorism with the purpose of intimidation, and it's harming innocent people. It's really terrible. And I think what we actually have to get to are the people who are organizing and paying for these attacks and protests. That's who we really need to go after, because the people who are actually throwing the Molotov cocktails, they are the foot soldiers. Right. But we need to go after the generals, and we're going to do so. The president has made it very clear that we're going to go after those that are paying and organizing these violent attacks. And Attorney General Bondi has said the same thing. I believe that is exactly what will happen.
Do you know who they are?
We're coming for them.
Do you know who those generals are?
We know. We do.
Yes. And hopefully the prosecution will be for RICO and an organized criminal enterprise, which makes the penalties even more serious. And now to Jessica.
Yes, absolutely. These are serious crimes where the organizers and pushers of mass violence will go to prison for a very long time.
That's right. Okay.
And I hope they see this segment.
By the way, if you think Wisconsin had fraud, last time I checked, Pam Bondi has an election fraud unit at the Department of Justice, which we're in charge of. Just saying.
Take a look.
See the X-22 report, Sid?
That'd be some news.
6B control room. I was like, who wrote this?
Oh, you see my response.
Not out of our hands. Correct. Correct.
Does it let you? Oh, that's pretty cool. It lets you know the green ones rumble. That's pretty cool.
What's is there Islanders playing tonight?
No.
Oh, so we're on.
I know. I forgot to. I forgot. It's hard to keep a track, you know.
Damon's always pissing on the campfire.
No, Nick's got smoke.
Yeah, really. How exactly is that, Chris? By reminding you that. we have everything at our disposal to go after that?
Well, if there was fraud in Wisconsin, we do know, that DOGE will have looked at it, Well, at least we can hope. It just seems weird to me, though. I know it was a landslide, but they rigged the presidential election that would have been a landslide, and they turned the machines off. No sense to digress.
Jesus Perez gave us another $10 YouTube chat. Thank you very much. Word of the day, April 2nd, Liberation Day. Thank you, Jesus Perez. Mark Gibbs gave us $5 as well earlier in the YouTube Super Chat. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you for that.
Put on a suit says Damon does read X chat. I read all the chats.
There's somebody in there put on a suit?
Yeah,
oh, my God.
That's his handle.
I love it.
Supersonic Ninja Hippo over in Rant, over on Rumble.
That's the name I was going to use.
Was it?
No.
Damn. Says, I call Pam Bondi dress sessions.
Does that have
that's actually kind of funny. No, it's just you could just it's just
I had. I don't know if
it's just you can talk over it.
You can do it right now.
No, it's all right. Do you guys do the? This is kind of boring. OnlyFans and Amazon found they're trying to buy TikTok, which is somewhat boring.
The text and is the video, and then I'll continue.
Do you guys do this one that Jamie Raskin?
To the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night, April 2nd. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Slick's been doing sports. We'll try to get to everybody here a little bit, and I'll start with Paul Nolan. Mr. Nolan, what else is on your news bracket?
I like what Delgado was brought to the table tonight. Nice work, my friend. I like having a conversation about some of the stuff that's difficult to discuss, but this is the most difficult because Jamie Raskin gets dumber by the minute. Ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee is demanding that President Donald Trump fly hundreds of suspected gang members deported to El Salvador last month back to the United States. He said, I call on my colleagues. I demand that Trump administration will comply with all the judicial orders applying whichever ones they want to appeal and demand the return of people unlawfully taken to El Salvador and on the so-called plane full of gang bangers, Raskin had said. Raskin was referring to the two plane loads of Tren de Aragua and MS-13. And to me, he is as goofy as it gets, which is, again, pretty adorable that Judge James Boasberg, who will be overseeing this. So I just wanted to touch base on the left doubling down on their stupidity when they can't just let certain things go.
Well, specifically, what the hubbub of is with Raskin and the others is this one specific Maryland father who the media ran to frame as just a Maryland father.
Yeah.
Right.
Who was caught up, mistakenly identified, and sent away to that prison.
Right.
In where? El Salvador?
The super prison of El Salvador.
Yes. And Raskin and others made it sound like he was just that. Like he was like one of us. Some guy, this is a mistake. Get him back immediately. Not exactly the case. Not exactly the case. As a matter of fact, The Atlantic wrote, Trump administration mistakenly sent a Maryland father with protected legal status to a Salvadorian prison due to an administrative error. The case appears to be the first time the Trump administration has admitted to errors. And you read this article, well, it ends up that not quite. That this guy's a member of the gang, isn't he?
MS-13.
Yeah.
He's a gang leader.
And MS-13 is not to be trifled with. The way they operate is if you are not fully or gainfully employed, you're going to have problems with the head of your faction. They want everyone to keep up airs that they're all upstanding citizens. They're highly organized, they're highly intelligent, and they're extremely lethal. So these stories running cover for them make me sick. Again, CNN, right?
Well, all of them have done it. CNN did it. CBS did it. They've all done it. They all play loose and, fast and loose with the facts when it comes to something like this. And it's not an accident where they can propagandize everything and then get everybody, talking like, oh, he deported this father. Like there's some innocent guy who's never done anything. And that's not the case at all. As a matter of fact, he has a long history of going through asylum and hearings and everything else and what his status really is. But they don't care about the facts. All they care about is the headline. Trump deports father from Maryland. That's all they cared about. So,
yep.
Delgado, what else is on your radar?
All right. Well, this is something I missed from last night. Hopefully we can play this. A couple quick clips for you, if you don't mind. Let's see. Here's cut number 1A. It's Senator Jim Banks. He was on his way.
That's great.
He was on his way to an elevator when he was confronted by a soy boy trying to make a name for himself. Here is Senator Jim Banks. Cut number 1A. Check this out.
I was a worker at HHS. I was fired illegally on February 14th. There are many people who are not getting social service programs, especially people with disabilities. Are you going to do anything to stop what's happening?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it. Wow. Yeah, that's great to hear. Why did I deserve it?
Because you seem like a clown.
Okay, sir, you shouldn't have said that.
That's exactly how these people should be dealt with.
And how perfect is it the fact
door
that
closed, like
mic drop.
Right when he says, because you seem like a clown.
All that needed was like the Bugs Bunny music.
The timing on that was beautiful. Right? The timing?
Yeah, just amazing timing. Again, that was Senator Jim Banks schooling him.
Exactly how these people should be dealt with. Exactly.
Yeah. And who was it? It was Burchett that did it last week.
So there's another one.
Burchett's good, man.
Burchett nailed that kid last week.
Does your mother oversee your Game Boy or something? He said to him, yeah. That was good too. Burchett's great too.
Exactly.
Although I don't know what he's thinking on this.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Anna Paulina Luna deal.
Senator Jim Banks. I'm not sure if I have clip 12A from Daniel Tosh available. But here he is talking about, you're talking about tariffs and you're talking about the problems we're having north of the border. Here he is, Daniel Tosh, comedian Daniel Tosh, formerly of Tosh 2.0. Check out his stance on Canada. Check this out.
Canada has the greatest fence ever built. America. It is foolproof if you can afford it. Really easy to be the cool, open-minded hippie country when there's a Kevlar snuggie of America draped around your fat, frozen ass, daring the world to talk shit. We don't use our military. We know. We got you taken care of. Go back to bed. We'll wake you when the NHL playoffs start.
I like that one right there.
So there you
I like that one. And they're going to start soon, big day. They're coming up.
Just a little slash and grab over at Canada. So there you have it, Damon.
Yeah.
A little something for an uptick.
All right, it's a good lead-in. Speaking of the NHL playoffs,
that
just
right
last
now.
sports here for the evening. Slick, what's going on?
All right, well, let's get to this story. Good one here. Female fencer takes a knee, forfeits in protest of transgender opponent. Just what we want to see more of. This is Dan Zashesky of Outkick. Stephanie Turner, a member of the Fencing Academy of Philadelphia, took a knee and forfeited a match to protest being forced to compete against a transgender male opponent. You can see the clip here, cut 5. And young lady she took a knee. She just did not go take on this gentleman. On Sunday, Turn was matched against Redmond Sullivan, a transgender woman who was a biological male during the Cherry Blossom D1 VET ROC event in Maryland hosted by USA Fencing. USA Fencing, a notoriously left-wing organization, has not been shy about its desire to allow males who identify as women to compete against actual women. Both Turner and Sullivan competed in the Division 1A foil, but Turner refused to contest the match and immediately took a knee upon the start. A video posted to social media, which amassed over 1 million views in just a few hours, shows Turner taking a knee and then Sullivan coming over to speak with her. After a brief conversation, Sullivan walked away. The tournament recorded Turner's participations as DNF did not finish, which resulted in a forfeit victory for Sullivan. Many people, including Riley Gaines, Megan Riley, and Martina Navratilova, took to social media to commend Turner for refusing to participate in a match against a male. I saw another line in this story where she used to be a Democrat and she is now returned to a Republican with all this nonsense.
She should have said my fencing little tiny stick sword. She should have brought out like a katana.
Exactly.
Like it identifies as your little sissy little fencing sword.
Well,
I'll chop your arm off.
Well,
exactly.
Congratulations, because that's what women need to do across the board.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Get to the start line. They say go. You say no. I don't think so. And watch this idiot have to stand there by themselves and fence or run an entire mile by yourself around the track because nobody wants to compete against a guy when it's a bunch of girls. If they just stand together and say, we're not doing this, they control it.
That's right. That's it.
And so congratulations to her, man.
But meanwhile, the left hates women, and there's perfect evidence of it again.
Yep. Well, they're taking offense to offense.
The female fencer, what's her name, Turner?
Yeah.
Right on
she
point.
was now suspended.
Yeah, she was suspended. She got a black card. It's called a black card. And, that means she's now suspended. You believe this? Well, they're so left-wing, this group. That's the problem. Stephanie Turner.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap in sports. Wrap it up.
Doubling down.
I saw someone in the chat say, how do we know the guy Banks was talking to was a clown? Why does everybody think he's a clown? Did you watch the video? Did you hear the guy? How much do you need to see to know the guy's a clown? Guy's a clown.
I got 4 years illegal.
Yeah, that's clownish right there. We don't need your dissertation.
Mommy, I yelled at a senator today.
As always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, all emergency personnel. Thanks, guys, on the show. Aaron Friend, great job as always. Most of all, thank you, the live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right back here, live from Studio 6B.